I would definitely say that working with Joe was stress-free. So I met Joe through my partner Kyle, and Joe and Kyle actually went to college together in Rhode Island. So when we found out that Joe was in Port St. Lucie, we were really excited because it was sort of serendipitous. You know, like we knew someone here that we could trust, and we were excited that he could be our real estate agent.
The way I met Joe was in sophomore year of college. We both shared a dorm room and we lived basically a floor above each other. We hung out all the time. We played college hockey together. We played in the men's league through the university. We got very close. We both grew up in a small town in New Jersey, which we also bonded over. And we used to actually visit home together as well.
So I chose Joe because he's trustworthy. We knew that he was going to find us a great investment property in a great neighborhood for our kids.
He was there to help me make an educated decision in the area that we were buying in, which I, one, was grateful for, and two, definitely took his recommendations and insight into the area that we were looking at to heart, and definitely included it in my decision making.
He knows the area so well. So he was able to show us new builds, older homes, and eventually we found what worked for us, something that we could hold over time and it would grow in value. He took us everywhere. He spent a lot of time driving around with us and explaining to us like where shopping would be, what neighborhoods had parks, what schools were in the area.
At one point during the buying process, we were torn between looking at either a new build or buying something that had been a little bit more established. And Joe's insight into that was incredible. Basically knowledge of the area, how far it would be to get from point A to point B in Port St. Lucie, as well as sort of the pros and cons of living in an HOA versus against living in an HOA. All of those things were considered to the point where it made it really easy for me and my family to look at it objectively and figure out what was going to work best for us. There was never any judgment from Joe. There was always a lot of patience. There was always as much information relayed as humanly possible. He was never in a rush to finish the process. He was always making sure that any and all questions were answered. He also expressed a lot of patience with us because obviously, you know, between me and my wife, we made all sorts of decisions that may have flip-flopped along the way, and he was understanding of every single one. So.
My experience with Joe was really easy. That's the best way to describe it. I had so much stress about moving and packing and getting the kids into school that it was really nice to be able to rely on Joe to do all of the work. So he knew where he was going, he made all of the appointments, he did all the paperwork, he sent us the emails that we needed to sign. So I didn't have to worry about that part of picking a house. He got to do all of the tough work and we got to do the fun stuff. He also helped us understand what was going on financially. He ran the numbers for us. He made sure we knew exactly what our mortgage payment was going to be every month. He helped us figure out what was in our budget and only showed us houses that were in our budget too. So we felt totally taken care of. Like, we knew that Joe was gonna find us the best property in our budget. I think it takes a lot of time to do what a realtor does. It takes a lot of multitasking to be a realtor. You have to be able to know your way around, be able to communicate really well with people, have a great personality, but also be really diligent about paperwork, finances, and making sure that you're on time for appointments. So having a realtor is really important because it's a lot of work that specifically I don't want to do. I want to have the fun part of going and looking at houses, and I wanted someone that would do all of that really hard stuff for me.
When looking at and choosing a realtor, one of the most important things I believe is to really take a look at their core values, their track record, and also just how you feel when you're interacting with them in terms of looking at a home, looking at paperwork. You should always feel comfortable. And the reality of working with Joe is all of those things are accounted for plus 10. He's very patient, he's very thorough, the process is never rushed, and it's super important to feel completely comfortable with the purchase that you're about to make. And knowing him, one, as a friend, but then also as someone from a business mindset, he kind of puts your mind completely at ease and makes you at home in the whole process. For me personally, the most important thing is, again, that trust. And to have a real estate agent as dedicated and as thorough and as patient and as understanding as Joe is the single most important thing, in my opinion, that helped us purchase our home and ensured the fact that we got into a home that we love. And there really isn't anybody that I could recommend more than Joe.
I would definitely recommend Joe to anyone looking to buy a house in this area.
If you're looking for an agent that takes the stress out of buying or selling, that's reliable and trustworthy, contact me today.